I think there's a case, Matthew, that last year he may have been sort of the safest bet week to week, or maybe he is the safest bet week to week going forward. And here's the reason why I'm going to explain. Let me explain this a little bit further.
Please
is
do.
that when you're looking for a safe floor in fantasy, you certainly want amazing rushing ability. He has that, as does somebody like Derrick Henry, right? But you also want somebody who has passing game usage. Maybe he's actually just second in terms of safety. And if you look at Dalvin Cook's game log last year, like the passing volume was just consistent, right? There was no spike where he has like a 13 reception game that makes his end of season numbers look better than they were. It was like consistently, frequently between like 4 and 6 catches, like 40 to 50 yards. I think he finished the year last year, another 40, I think it was 44 catches maybe last year for Dalvin Cook. Just solid, dependable, 5 to 7 points added per week as a receiver. That's the kind of value I think you're looking for. So other than Christian McCaffrey, who we know has a 1,000-yard rushing plus 1,000-yard receiving upside every single week, Dalvin Cook checks all the boxes.
1,000-yard rushing and receiving every single week?
Every single season. I don't mean week because I'm a dummy.
34,000 total yards from scrimmage at
no
the
big
end
deal.
of the year.
And we're splitting hairs, right? So like Derrick Henry doesn't have as much receiving upside, and Alvin Kamara is just not used as frequently as a runner, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Dalvin Cook kind of just strikes all the right notes.
I have Dalvin Cook at number 2, and I think he's a pretty clear number 2. We did a draft last night, and Mina Kimes took Alvin Kamara at 2, which I was a little surprised about, given that I think Dalvin Cook is sort of 2. She really likes Kamara. Stefania, managed to get Stefania went Derrick Henry at 3.
Yeah.
So there's certainly, look, I don't think you can go wrong with any of those running backs, plus Ezekiel Elliott or Dalvin Cook. All of a sudden, I got something in my throat. That's why you're hearing me.
Is that what it is?
He's
Is it
emotional.
love?
It's
Must be love.
He's thinking about Baby Yates. It's
just getting choked
several
up.
times too.
For Klimt.
It's going to happen every few days.
Every once in a while, you just get those emotions come over you, man.
Can I go get water?
Sure,
yeah, you can go
do.
get water. Yeah,
Let's
you
keep talking
how
about
about I
Dalvin
go
Cook.
get you
I'll
water?
take
How
it from
about
here,
you
buddy.
stay
Get
here?
some water.
All right, Daniel.
Okay,
Go ahead,
get your
me water,
throat cleared.
please.
I'll talk about Dalvin Cook here for a second. But again,
I should redo that for the video team.
no, it's okay. I'll
Yeah,
Do
handle
you
it.
think so? All right.
Dalvin Cook, though, top 2 in touches last year, top 2 in scrimmage yards, top 2 in total touchdowns scored last year. As I mentioned, I was actually correct. 44 catches last season, consistent, solid, steady. He's a star. The Vikings have a lot invested in him, and despite the fact that we know Minnesota has a capable back behind him in Alexander Mattison, it's the Dalvin Cook show unless Dalvin Cook is not on the field. He is the workhorse.
Third in both red zone carries and goal-to-go carries. That's what's exciting is not only is he the guy that gets you between the 20s, but when they get in close, they also give it to Dalvin Cook. They like to run. Mike Zimmer likes to run when you get in close. And I actually think, you mentioned Alexander Mattison. I think Alexander Mattison is a point in favor of Dalvin Cook, and I'll tell you why. Look, football is a violent sport. Knowing the fact that you can draft insurance for Dalvin Cook and Alexander Mattison, I think is helpful because there are some players that are going, and you're just sort of like, well, who's that? Like, Derrick Henry's backup. Do we think it's
Evans,
Do we
maybe?
think it's Evans? Maybe. Like, we think it's going to be him, but we haven't really seen it, right? Like, there are some elite running backs where you're just sort of like that Ezekiel Elliott's backup is Tony Pollard. Great. I do think having a clear guy to draft actually helps because you've got that position. To me, Dalvin Cook is the clear number 2 overall and number 2 running back in fantasy this year.
With you right there, Dalvin Cook also feels like a guy that embraces the fantasy goodness as well. He is cooking, was cooking all last year. We expect him to cook again this upcoming year.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.